Hello! Are you old enough to hold a Stein? I've got two beer mugs here, one for you and one for me. Choose yours so that we can cheer our day away to the world's largest beer festival, which is called Oktoberfest, held every year in Germany. Are you with me in this? So let's go. My name is Michelle and I'm glad to have you with me. So guys, Oktoberfest is the festival where you have everything from mouth-watering food to amazing music and finally beer almost everywhere. And I know this is so interesting. So let's start with the first word that we have on the board. This word is very related to beer because this is where you carry the beer, the container. It's called a beer stein. A beer stein is a traditional beer mug. Traditional beer mug. That's made out of stoneware. So stoneware is basically stones, beautiful adorned stones, and glasses are made up of stones in which you can pour in the beer and have a sip, have the whole of it just the way you like it. The next one that we have is pints, beer pints. So beer pints are also beer mugs, but they are not so traditional. They are regular beer mugs. So some of you can have beer in the pints and some of you can have cider if you do not like beer or if you do not drink. The next word that we have with us is souvenir. So when people go to Oktoberfest in Munich every year, despite knowing that it's not allowed to carry the beer mugs, the beautiful beer mugs away, they still carry the beer mugs away and they act like thieves because they want to have a souvenir from there, which means a memory. An objective memory. So for them, the stains are a souvenir from the Munich Oktoberfest. Right, so let's also talk about the music. The music in the Oktoberfest is just amazing. It's very lively and mostly you'll hear country music. If that's not enough to get you on a plane to Germany, then my dear, what we have is also beautiful tents there. Yes, we have beer tents. That's what we call them, beer tents. Beer tents are almost like villages. You know, a very small village which has its own kitchen, which has its own brewery. Brewery is where you brew the alcohol or brew the beer and everyone takes beer from there. So it has got a kitchen and it's got a brewery. And to get a table in a tent is a major feat. Major feat means a big achievement. That's what you see on the board. So if you get a table or a place for yourself in any of the tents, then it's a major feat, which means it's a big achievement. So he or she made a major feat by getting a table on the beer tent, in the beer tent. The next word that we have with us is bursting bladders. Of course, when you're in that village tent and there are 6 million people from all over the world, with every tent having thousands of people, they need some really excellent toilets, which are not too occupied and many in number so that they can cater to all the bursting bladders, which means people who have had a lot of beer and they want to rush to the toilet. So people who want to rush to the toilet are the people who have bursting bladders. So if you want to rush to the toilet, you could say, oh, I'm having a bursting bladder. I really need to rush to the toilet right now. The next word that we have is revellers. So revellers are all the crazy people who are having a lot of fun at the Oktoberfest. This means people who are lively and who are in a party. Partygoers or merrymakers. So you could say that each beer tent has thousands of revellers having fun. The next word that we have is ubiquitous. So ubiquitous is something which is present everywhere. Ubiquitous is something that is present everywhere. What do you expect would be ubiquitous at the Oktoberfest, the greatest beer festival other than beer? So food is another ubiquitous thing at the Oktoberfest. You'll find food almost everywhere, and each tent has its own special dish. So the next one that we have is tap the keg. Tap here is the verb and keg is the noun. So keg is a vessel or a drum in which there's a lot of beer. It contains beer. Vessel containing beer. And tapping the keg means opening it or opening the tap of the keg. Opening it. So the first keg is tapped in the Skottenemel village tent in Munich, in Germany, and it's the mayor who taps the first keg by saying Oktoberfest. That's a special way of saying it's tapped. In German, it's Oktoberfest, and in English, it's tapped. So once the mayor has tapped the keg, everyone can prost their day away, which means they can cheer their day away and enjoy the day. So to prost means to cheer or to raise a toast. And then they can drink as well, everyone else. The next one that we have is beer corpses, which in German is called as Bierleichen. So Bierleichen or beer corpses are dead bodies. No, they're not dead bodies. They are people who are very, very drunk and they act really crazy and cranky. They behave like they are dead because they are very unconscious. So very drunk people are called beer corpses. If you go to Germany, you'll find a lot of bars with the name Bierleichen. The next one that we have is keep your wits about you. This is my advice if ever you think of going to Oktoberfest, because when you go to Oktoberfest, there are so many beer corpses almost everywhere and you need to be alert about yourself, your own safety. So to keep your wits about you means to stay alert for your safety. So this time is the best time to go for Oktoberfest because right now the Oktoberfest is going to start in September and it's going to go on till the end of October. Book your tickets for this year or book your tickets for next year. You're going to have an experience of a lifetime. If you love drinking, then this is the place for you. Come back for more lessons with me about festivals and celebrations all over the world. This is Michelle signing off. Bye-bye. When is the rubber band smaller? When it expands or when it contracts? I think when it expands. Yeah. What do you think? When is it smaller? When it expands or when it contracts? Do you want to find out? Then join me in this lesson because in this lesson we are learning contractions in English. Come, let's go. Shopping? Do you want to tell your friend about what you shopped last week? Girls, where you bought that expensive jewelry, and boys, where you got those really cheap t-shirts? Yes, I know you want to tell them. But do you really struggle with the words? Then stay with me. I'm Michelle, and this lesson is about prices. I'm going to teach you how to talk about prices.